Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're not just rattling off records or looking at a shiny trophy cabinet. We are diving deep into the dramatic, deeply emotional journey of a man who literally sacrificed everything for greatness. We're going to explore the life of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Close your eyes for a second and just picture it. 90,000 fans roaring, chanting a single name. The stadium is practically shaking. Camera flashes are lighting up the night from every conceivable angle, and millions of us are glued to our screens all over the globe. And right there, soaking it all in under the blinding lights, is Cristiano Ronaldo. He's this modern, almost mythical figure standing at the absolute peak of world football. It is the ultimate picture of triumph.
But you know, that picture of sheer perfection, it hides a really painful, grueling past. So we have to ask, how exactly does a skinny kid from a tiny, isolated island transform into this undisputed global icon? What is the actual emotional distance between where he started and that roaring stadium? Let's get into it.
Section 1. The Boy from Madeira. The Weight of Poverty and the Dream of Escape.
Back in 1985 in Funchal, Madeira, reality was, well, it was harsh. Ronaldo grew up in a really cramped, modest house with his parents and 3 siblings. His mom, Maria Dolores, made incredible, daily sacrifices just to put food on the table. And his dad, Jose Denise, worked as a kit man for a small local club called Andorinha. For young Cristiano, football wasn't just kicking a ball around the street for fun. It was a total obsession. It was a desperate lifeline. Honestly, it was his one and only realistic ticket out of the crushing poverty on that island. He was wildly talented by age 8, sure, but it was his absolute hunger that made him different.
By 1995, he's totally dominating at Madeira's biggest local club. But to actually make it to the next level, he had to make a gut-wrenching choice. In 1997, at just 12 years old, he packs up and leaves his family behind. He moves completely alone to the mainland to join the Sporting CP Academy in Lisbon. 12 years old. Imagine the pure terror of that. He missed his family so much, and the homesickness was absolutely crushing. He cried constantly.
And Lisbon was brutal for him at first. He was relentlessly mocked by the other academy kids for his thick island accent. He felt incredibly lonely. There were days he literally wanted to quit and just go home. But the real test, the ultimate test, hit him at age 15. Ronaldo was diagnosed with a racing heart condition. Think about that for a second. This wasn't just going to end his football dreams, it was life-threatening. He had to have surgery. Everything could have vanished right then and there. But he goes through with it, the surgery is a success, and almost immediately, he is right back on the training pitch fighting harder than he ever had before.
Section 2. Forging a Global Star. The Manchester United Transformation.
Fast forward to 2003. Sporting is playing a friendly against Manchester United, and Ronaldo is just dazzling. His pace, his dribbling. He so completely runs the show that the legendary Sir Alex Ferguson basically demands United sign him immediately. They hand him the iconic number 7 shirt. Now, when he arrived, he was this skinny teenager, and the critics were loud, right? They said he was all showboating, no end product. But instead of folding under that fierce criticism, he went to work. Through the most grueling, relentless training imaginable, he completely transformed his body and his game. By 2008, he had forged himself into a relentless, world-class machine, winning the Champions League and hoisting his very first Ballon d'Or.
But right in the middle of this meteoric rise, real tragedy hits. In 2005, when Ronaldo is only 20 years old, his father passes away from an alcohol-related illness. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Just as he's starting to conquer the world, the man who first introduced him to a football club is gone. But instead of letting it break him, this loss permanently rewired his mentality. He dedicated every future goal, every single achievement to his father's memory. It fueled this obsessive, almost superhuman ambition to just be the absolute best.
Section 3. The Pinnacle of Greatness. The Real Madrid Era.
Madrid wasn't just another club, it was a crucible. He arrives in 2009 for a world record fee, carrying a suffocating amount of pressure on his shoulders. But what truly defined this era was Lionel Messi. That rivalry defined a whole generation of football, and it forced Ronaldo to chase pure perfection. Under all that intense pressure, he delivered. He became Real Madrid's all-time leading scorer. He captured 4 Champions League titles for them, shattered goal-scoring records that didn't even seem possible, and brought his total Ballon d'Or count up to 5. He was no longer just a star. He was a global phenomenon.
Section 4. Glory for Portugal.
The Euro 2016 triumph.
So despite winning literally everything at the club level, there was this desperate, burning fire inside him to win a major trophy for his home country. And Euro 2016 was his moment. The tension was off the charts, but then, cinematic heartbreak. In the final, he suffers an agonizing injury and is forced off the pitch in tears. It felt like the dream was completely dead, but this right here is what makes him a legend. He couldn't play, but he wasn't out of the game. Limping, highly emotional, practically frantic, he turns into a second manager on the sidelines. He's shouting, rallying his team through sheer force of will, until the final whistle blows and Portugal secures their historic first major international trophy.
Section 5. The man behind the legend. An empire beyond the pitch.
Today, that lonely, homesick kid from Madeira is a family man anchored by his partner Georgina and his 5 kids. And off the pitch, he's built an absolute empire. First, you've got the massive CR7 brand and a super rare lifetime endorsement deal with Nike. Then you've got this sprawling real estate portfolio all over the globe. But that third step is really telling. He quietly pours his vast wealth into disaster relief, medical treatments, and children's hospitals. Because at the end of the day, he never forgot what it felt like to be a poor kid on a tiny island who desperately needed life-saving medical help.
Section 6. The pursuit of immortality. Defying age.
I want you to look at this number, 143. That is his record-breaking international goal tally for Portugal. 143 goals. It's the most international goals scored by any player in the history of men's football. And the crazy thing is, he just keeps going. Through his time at Juventus, that emotional return to Manchester United, and his massive move to Al Nassr, which practically overnight brought the world's eyes to Saudi football, he has maintained this elite goal-scoring form well into his 40s. His longevity and his discipline are literally superhuman.
So we circle back to where we started. What is the true cost of greatness? Well, it's relentless ambition. It's the agonizing sacrifice of leaving everything you know at 12 years old. And it's the unwavering discipline to just outwork the pain, year after year. Cristiano Ronaldo's story is so much bigger than football. It's this powerful testament to the human spirit and what it takes to conquer the world against all odds. So I'll leave you with this. What mountain in your own life could you conquer if you applied just a fraction of that relentless will? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.